Hi guys, welcome to Struggles with Songbird with Lou, episode 2. Today, as opposed to doing a song and analysing that, I'm going to look into my upper register specifically and just sort of what I do there to work with my voice and that kind of thing. A couple of warm-ups I have for my upper register as well, if anyone wants to try them out. They're quite aggressive. So you've got your typical like lip trill moving up and down your register, warming that up as much as you can. I know people often do sirens as well, so like the one that my singing teacher from many moons ago gave me was yay! So using that Y sort of sound to get you in there. Otherwise you've got your standard like different vowel sounds going up and down 5-note scales, that kind of stuff. Anyways, so upper register wise, I have a couple of different timbres that I use, that I sort of play around with and use depending on the role, the character, the song, so many different variables. So my natural upper register timbre, like if I'm just singing naturally as myself, sounds like, it's so weird to just like break into song. People are like, musicals are unrealistic, no one just breaks into song. You've never been in my house. So my natural upper register timbre is like, seen your flag on the marble arch, love is not a victory march, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. So I put it through my nose quite a bit, cheat it out a little bit. It's kind of what I'd call like my lazy mix belt, where I keep a sort of twangy forward sound. That's just kind of where I naturally sit now when I sing after years of getting my voice out of my throat. Props to Math Samer for that one. Versus if I was to do a more musical theatre upper register, generally musical theatre sopranos are a lot more classical sounding. So if we look at this, Phantom. Think of me fondly when we've said goodbye. Remember me once in a while, please promise me you'll try. So for that, I tend to let myself, you know, actually put an effort, drop my jaw a little bit more, let myself get more of that resonance, bring it up into my soft palate a bit more, not back, but up into that more classical operatic-y sound. I've just had singing teachers be like, pretend you're an opera singer, and I'm like, does it work? Sure. Another upper register timbre that I play around with is like classic Disney princess, just because I really love mimicking it. If we haven't learned from all my accent videos, I enjoy mimicry. So mimicking Disney princesses was something that I always loved to do, and then I developed this kind of slightly covered sounding upper register. So I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, the gleam in your eyes is so familiar a gleam. So if you hear the difference between those, there's that slightly more covered sound to it, I guess. A way that I messed with my voice to be able to mimic that sound. So it's a slightly rounder, broader, like I think more outwards and tall as opposed to just tall sounding for it. And then I've got another one I play around with, which is my jazz upper, which is just like I just let it flow and do all sorts of fun things and trills, and I love singing jazz in my upper register because I feel like I have a lot more control over my voice there. So, an example of that. Lullaby of birdland, that's what I always hear when you sigh. Never in my wordland could there be ways to reveal in a phrase how I feel. So it's, again, I try get like a slightly more classic sound. I bring it, it's still forward, like it's not in my throat by any means, but I bring the sound back almost, it feels like. And I just let my voice swell a lot more and move in and out of the sound rather than just being like on that sound the whole time. I play around with it a lot more and I let it, it's very free, I find. When I sing jazz in my upper register, it's a lot freer than any of the other type of songs that I sing. So ways that I've used this personally in my own performances is when I did Tracy in High Society. So she had, gosh, she had so much singing that she had to do. She sang like 8 songs. Some were in upper register, some were in lower register. One of the ones in particular that was in upper register was True Love. So this, I used a mix of my musical theatre and my jazz upper, because it's 1940s and because it's Cole Porter and because it is that era, it needs to have that sound. So if I was to sing it in my standard upper, it would just be like, for you and I have a guardian angel on high with nothing to do. Sounds great, but I sound really young. I was also having to play up for this character. So I brought in more of the jazz sound and the tiniest bit of that covered Disney sound, because it does make me sound a little older. So it ended up being, for you and I have a guardian angel on high with nothing to do. So I used a couple of those different timbres, mixed them all together just to make myself sound a little older and to make it sound more era appropriate. You can't be doing super poppy musical theatre sounding upper register or super operatic, because it just did not suit the tone of that show. So that is a sort of breakdown of my upper register, the ways that I personally play around with them. Please remember, I'm not a singing teacher. Like, I take lessons. Like, I'm still learning. That's why I created this, because you know, it's great seeing professional singing teachers posting things all the time. I love watching them because I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. But I'm coming to you guys as a performer who's still learning, who's still improving herself. So on that note, if you do happen to know any techniques, anything you think I should try, anything, any songs in particular you want me to try or styles you want me to try, please comment them down below. I will happily have a crack at it. Techniques in particular, I always love trying new things. But otherwise, I hope you found this interesting in some way, even if it's just you going, oh, I do that. I apologize. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Lou. I'll see you next time.